Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Trey Fan Podcast. I'm your host, Rashawn. My next guest was in a featured film playing a double of a well-known actor in the movie industry. You may recognize his work like Billy Madison, Mr. Deeds, The Waterboy, just to name a few. That's right, Adam Sandler. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Max Kessler, who had the privilege of playing a young Happy Gilmore in Happy Gilmore 2, streaming now on Netflix. Welcome to the show, Max. Appreciate you taking the time to be here, bro.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Really, really appreciate it.
Of course, man. You know, first and foremost, obviously, like before we started, I just want to tell you happy birthday. How are you feeling?
Thank
And how was your birthday, man?
I'm feeling good. I'd be lying if I said I didn't wish I spent my birthday on the golf course, but
Of course, of
I
course.
got a lot of hours in last year.
Of course, man. Of course. Well, I'm happy to hear about that, man. I wish you nothing but the best. You know, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to be here with us. And so let's get right into it. Obviously, how did this opportunity come to work with Adam Sandler?
It's crazy. I think if you take it back to 2016, and his character's name in his movie The Do-Over
Yeah,
was Max Kessler,
crazy.
and my name is Max Kessler, which is nuts. I
Yeah,
think most
it's
people
crazy.
get lost in like that part of the story because to me that's like the coolest part of the story.
Yeah,
Um, and then nothing happened, right? Like 9 years passes by, your life is normal, you're doing your thing, and then you get a DM from the casting agency that's like, "Hey, we're looking to fill this role.
yeah.
Are you interested?"
Wow. Was it ever like surprising though? Because like I remember that I saw a video too. You said like you were always getting compared to Adam Sandler, and you actually look very similar to him. It's crazy. Yeah, and I see you obviously with the Boston jersey and stuff. What was your
Yeah.
initial reaction when you started going viral, and then hearing that Adam got word of you?
Yeah, I think in 2016 this predated, Instagram virality and
Yeah,
TikTok, and I didn't really understand like what going viral even meant other than please let's have him see this post.
yeah, yeah,
So when I posted to Reddit and I'm watching it and you refresh every second and it goes up, tens of thousands of blah 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 clicks, I'm like, he's gonna see this. Like, and I was just over the moon,
yeah.
excited.
So obviously you talked about the do-over, right? And that red carpet experience.
Yeah.
What was your meeting like when you actually got to meet him? Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Just it must have been like starstruck for you.
I think that's also like a really good point. He's an absolute legend. He's incredible. Everybody knows him. He's a household name.
Yeah,
And to be compared to him from like looks, obviously a
yeah,
looks
yeah,
perspective, for years and years and years, when I finally got to meet him and shake his hand and meet him on the red carpet, I was freaking out. Like I was really nervous. I
yeah. Of
tried to
course.
make it look like I wasn't,
Yeah,
but I was freaking out.
yeah. It's freaking Adam Sandler. You know, like there's a lot of our childhood and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So actually, speaking about that, like, what was the first thing that he said to you when you actually talked to him?
It was funny because the first thing I said, or the first second I met him, was on the red carpet. So it was pretty much just like, "Hey, what's going on? Nice to meet you." Like very younger. I think he said like younger, sweeter, better looking version of me, something like one of those lines or whatever it
Yeah.
was. It's like looking in a mirror, I think was the phrase.
Wow, man, that's dope, man. So before working on this project, Happy Gilmore 2, obviously what we're talking about,
Yeah.
did you have any acting experience prior? Any doubling experience?
No, no. I
No.
mean, the only thing I did here and there was I took a few stand up comedy classes and I performed in New
Oh,
York
nice.
City at a few places, but I wouldn't call myself an actor.
Just one of those things that just
Not
kind of
at all.
happen, right?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the craziest part is because you went from like maybe doing a high school play years and years ago
Yeah.
to being center stage in a feature film. Like it's just, it was nuts.
What a story to tell the way, like just starting off as just in high school, basically doing like drama classes and stuff, and
Yeah.
just an Adam Sandler movie. No flex about that.
Yeah. And you could tell, like, listen, I've never been to other movie sets and I've never been to other Sandler films,
Yeah,
but the vibe on set and the attention to detail, I mean, they wanted to get this movie right. And there was so much emphasis on doing it that way. So the sets were huge and the
yeah.
crew was huge. So to be thrown into that on top of just never being on a movie set, I mean, it's something that I'll probably never see again. It was wild.
100%. That was actually gonna be my next question. Was like, what was it like the first day of set? Obviously, being surrounded by so many well-known actors and directors. Like, like what was that environment like for you to walk into? Like, considering that.
Yeah, I think sometimes like when you're so blind to some of this stuff, it actually helps you out, which is so funny.
Yeah.
Like I showed up to the first day and I was filming a scene with Julie Bowen, and I didn't even realize who she was. I swear on my life, I did not know until I did like four takes, and then someone was like, "Oh my god, like you just worked with Julie Bowen," and I was like, they were
Wow.
like Modern Family, Happy Gilmore One, and I'm like, oh my god. So like then you like are nervous, but you know you weren't nervous for that interaction because you didn't really put that much of an emphasis on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, which was helpful in certain ways. And then moving forward, you know, Julie Bowen, Sandler, directors, like they were all just so open and welcoming that it was just like it didn't feel like a weird relationship in that sense. I could go over them and talk to them about pizza, you know,
Yeah.
and it made it that much easier.
I think that's another thing that's probably like relieving because you also hear a lot about like bad sets and being on like bad castmates
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
when you're in that position where obviously you don't know what to expect and you're welcome with open arms,
Yeah.
it just makes everything feel so much better. That like you're like, wow, like people actually there are good people out there, you know?
No, yeah. And if you think about it, like probably the most famous Sandler movie, arguably one of the most famous movies ever, like
Yep.
comedies for
Comedy
sure.
wise.
You know, you're coming out with this sequel and then you're tasking this kid who's never acted, doesn't really play golf, to be in some sort of like role that you're going to see. I mean, it sounds so ridiculous. So that just goes to show the type of people, you know, that they are. They're fantastic.
So what was the call like when you got that initial call to be a part of that film?
Yeah, it's funny. So like I went in, they were like, hey, go to the production office, meet the team. We meet with the team. So I
Yep.
go into the production office, I meet the team. Again, back to my earlier comment, I didn't even know who anybody was. I didn't
Yeah.
know what an AD meant or a director. I have no idea. I'm just walking in blind.
Yeah.
And one of the people, you know, in the office said, like, do you think you can handle yourself if there are thousands of extras and hundreds of crew? Can you do the lines? Can you do the performance? And I remember thinking to myself at the time, there is no way I can actually do this. There's no
Yeah.
way. I've never acted before, you crazy. But of course, you know, you're me and you're sitting in there and you're like, I got to get the role.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm like, absolutely, sign me up. I'm game. Let's go.
And that was actually gonna be my next question was like, did you have any doubts taking on such a role? And if so, how did you deal with that perseverance?
I did. I always joke that my favorite part of the day filming was
Yeah.
leaving because I could be so relieved
Yeah,
and
yeah.
turn around and be like, I actually did it. Um, absolutely. I kind of I didn't think I could do it, to be honest. When I showed up on set the first day, I remember thinking to myself, like, you're gonna freeze. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna pull this off. And it's really a testament to Adam and the directors and the producers because the confidence they gave me and like
Yeah.
the advice they gave me, I couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. I think that's really nice that they made sure to take the time to make you feel comfortable and they probably understand too, like, you know, it's probably like scary for you, obviously, right? Because you don't know what to expect. So I think that's really nice that they took the time to make sure that you felt comfortable and gave you that confidence to know that you can do this, you know? And
Absolutely, absolutely,
do you think your perspective on filmmaking and acting has changed after being on set and seeing what the process is like?
without a doubt. The second coolest thing that I would say, besides for like, there's a lot of cool things that happen during filming, but post filming was watching the movie at the cast and crew screening,
Yeah.
because like you just people like you notice the cool hair that somebody did and worked hours on, and you notice like the costume
Yeah.
and the outfit changes and the camera angles and how much goes into a shot, and you're just sitting there so appreciative of
Yeah.
like, maybe the joke was funny, but how many people did it take to get that shot right?
Yeah.
So you just have a whole new lens on that part in the pond. But seriously though, I do have a whole new take on what it's like to execute a film of this size.
And I actually was gonna say, like, you know, when you're working on such a big film like that, was there ever any stress about like having more than one take that you had to do? Like when you're watching back, like, oh, maybe I could have done this better. Did you ever have those kind of thoughts?
For sure. I remember like I think the first scene I did, and mind you, in the beginning, Adam, the first couple times I was on set, he
Yeah.
would do the scene. And then I could watch him and I could mimic his movements and I could,
Yeah.
they were pretty flexible, like, hey, Max, you can add whatever, but like, here's like, Adam's guide, like, whatever. So I had a good guide on what I should do, the first couple times at least. But I would say, like, I would do it and then I would tell, like, they'd be like, okay, I think we're good. And I'd be like, no, 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 no. I was thinking to myself, I think I could do it better. Let's do it again. Come on, let's
Yeah.
do it again. But no, I mean, if they said they got what they needed, they got what they needed. And I was totally okay with that.
So obviously, studying the mannerisms are key to a double. How did you
Yeah.
study Adam's to mimic his movements and stuff? We would say.
Yeah, it is key. It's a weird role too because it's like you're a double, but then they're using your, like your face and like they're, you're doing stuff too. So it was a kind of a quasi role. They they set me up with an acting coach who
Yeah.
is phenomenal. And we sat down and watched Adam movies, how does he walk? How does he talk? How does he like, bite his lower lip? Like how does he do
Like little
certain
things like that.
things?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do you pick up and not only put those in the scene, but then also actually act out, what you have to do.
Yeah. So I'm assuming there was probably like many rehearsing sessions that you had to do to like get those
A
movements
lot.
right.
A lot. I would say, yeah, hours and hours of acting and then hours and hours of golf coach. So
Okay. So actually, talking about golf, did you have any golfing experience prior to the role?
I never played competitively.
Yeah.
I've played before. Um, but if you look at my before Happy Gilmore Swing and my after, you'd be like, what? Like, find this instructor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Just a miracle, right? Just changed the whole thing.
I- my God. It's the hardest thing. I honestly, out of everything that I did, that was probably my most nerve-wracking thing is when I had a club in my hand. I was like,
Yeah.
just get me to the acting part, please.
So I was gonna say, like, what was the most challenging part about learning the Happy Gilmore swing for you?
It's probably like when and it's hard to explain, but you start taking a step into the swing, but you don't really start your hand motion right away. So you're almost like you want to like when you take your first step, you want to start moving your hands back to
Yeah.
like start like the motion, if you could see. I guess it's backward, but that's how you want to do it. So you got to kind of like do a couple steps and then move your wrists. So it's just
Yeah.
delaying that wrist. I know it's hard to explain, but the
No, I
timing
understand
of
what you're
it
saying though.
is
Yeah, like
definitely the hardest. Is definitely the hardest part. Timing it up.
yeah, because your first initial reaction is as soon as you're moving, you want to have that swing
You
motion at the
want to
same
go.
time. Yeah.
You
I
want
think people who actually play
and
golf, they understand it.
exactly, and they want it to look like as close to a pro swing as possible. So it's not like they were looking for like just grab a club and slam it. It was like, okay, take your couple steps, but then set up into what would look like as close to possible, like a legitimized, pro golfer swing. So it was hard to mirror those two. It was a lot of practice, but again, well worth it. Super
You
cool.
guys enjoying the video? If you guys haven't, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Just want to give a word to our sponsors of the show. If you guys are looking for a DJ who plays all the bets from old school, new school, look no other than my boy SC Sounds. You can book him for your next gig, for your birthdays, events, weddings. He has it all. You will not be disappointed. Be sure to follow him at SC Sounds on Instagram. If you're looking for jewelry we don't know where to start, then look no further than Shiv's Jewelry. From necklaces, earrings, rings, all are possible with Shiv's. They offer custom jewelry, repairing, engraving, all at affordable price. You can contact them at Shiv's Jeweler on Instagram. Shadow Signature. They specialize in fine luxury engraving glass bottles, each designed to make a statement and remain timeless forever. You can contact them at Shadow Signature on Instagram. Lastly, West Indian World Star. This is the all Caribbean events, cultures, promos, festivals. They're the place to go and contact for all your bookings. Be sure to contact at West Indian World Star and at shop West Indian World Star. Now back to the video. Thank you. How many takes did it take for you to nail it?
It depends, like on the scene, but there was a scene that you may be familiar with, like the water scene,
Yep.
and it was kind of like doing that and going in and falling like back flop into the water, and we did that about 8 times, about something like that. You can imagine because you're soaked, you know, new hair, new makeup, new costume, boom, boom, you're in and out. But again, it's all part of the experience. Like it's all
Yeah.
part of all part of it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think like you said, like you have a greater appreciation for that. Was there ever any time where you felt like maybe like some of the days were longer, or were you more appreciative of those days?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, one that I haven't been asked before. In the moment, you're just like, get me to my scene so I can get it over with. Like I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of other actors are just like they've done it before and they're like super casual with the whole thing. But for me, it was like just get me there and get me over it. But with that being said, if I did my scene in the morning, I always would stick around and watch the later scene
Yeah.
because it was really cool, and I could kind of float around and see what was going on. And like I said, I mean, this set, I'm sure others, they're doing some really, really cool things.
It's really cool, man. I actually like hearing that. And it's dope that I think that you made sure to stay back and also appreciate that moment because, like you said, like these moments don't come across at like just any other time. So that's really dope, man. That's really cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So being compared to Adam Sandler most of your life, did you ever think the day would come where you could say that you got to work on a film with him?
No. I can confidently say no. Um, it actually kind of, and I said this some other time, and I can't remember when, but I've been compared to him since I was like 8 years old. So it
Yeah.
got to a point where like enough is enough. It's okay. I get it. Like I look like the guy, great,
Yeah.
and it actually caused me to like not really watch Sandler films, like just
Yeah, for
kind
sure.
of go against some of it, to be
Yeah.
honest, because I constantly was told I looked like him. When I met him in 2016, it was almost like, okay, being compared to him all my life actually played out into something. Like I got to meet someone and also have a really, really cool experience. Never did I think in 2016, myself now in 2025 would be saying that I just watched myself in Happy Gilmore too. I absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Never a dull moment, man. How just life.
Right? I mean, life is about experiences. So I think no matter what they are, it's it's worth it. If you put yourself out there, you never know what comes your way.
How was Adam towards you, and what was some advice that he gave to you?
Yeah. Yeah, he was awesome. Like the relationship I had with him was expected. He gave me confidence and he kind of let me be myself, which I think is like the most important
Yeah.
piece of advice that he gave me was like you got this, go have fun. I remember the first time I was going out there and he's like, all right, bud, it's your turn, you're up. Like very nonchalant, very relaxed, very like I trust you, go out and do your thing. And I think when you feel that energy, you're able to execute that much better.
Yeah, for sure. And especially coming from such a legend that, you know,
Yeah.
is telling you that, it's just like a different kind of feeling for you.
it,
So
it
what would you
is.
say is like your top 5 Adam Sandler movies? You guys are say 5.
Good question. All right. So like I said earlier, I because I was told I looked just like him, I haven't watched, full disclosure, like so many of them, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
kind of
for sure.
funny. But to be honest, that's what made me probably fit into this role okay, because I wasn't really a fan, like not a, shouldn't say I wasn't a fan of his, but I wasn't like a fanboy. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, like it's
Yeah,
Adam,
like
if
losing
that
it the
makes
entire
sense.
time. Yeah.
Exactly, 100%. But my top five, I'll give you is Happy Gilmore the original,
Yep.
and Happy Gilmore 2 are tied. How about that?
Yeah.
I have
I
to throw
guess
that
it's
in
fair
there.
to put it.
I'll go with number two being Big Daddy. I think that
Classic.
that movie's
Love that
great,
movie. So good.
classic. I like the movie Click. I know it's a hot take at number
Yeah.
three, but I kind of like it. I think it's cool.
It's a good story, man.
Billy
It's a really
Madison,
good story.
it's cool. Exactly. I think it has some like some emphasis or some substance or whatever you want to say like
Yeah.
to that movie. Billy Madison, Layup 2, one of his earlier ones.
Yep, for sure.
And the surprising one, and this is not because I love the movie, but it's more because it got me in this seat, is The Do-Over. I'll just slide it in at number
You
five
have
just
to. You
because
have
I
to put it
have
in there.
to. How
It's
do
a
you
great movie
not?
though
Because
too.
then
It
you're
is
just,
actually a really good movie.
it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's a great movie. It does the job. But he has a lot of really, in all honesty, a ton of incredible movies.
A-
Um,
And
he
that's the
really
one
does.
thing, yeah, for sure. Like there is moments where you can have where you can just like recite like a certain line and people would understand like or get it, you know.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
as he's gotten older, he's obviously gotten wiser. But I feel like the sense of mixing comedy with drama has gotten a lot better too with his films too.
100, absolutely. Like I even thought Happy Gilmore too. And I didn't know the script. Like I just knew my parts. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know, whatever. But there was some good lines there too, and some moments there too where it did mix comedy and drama and emotion, and I really enjoyed it.
I think that was the one thing I liked a lot that they did was they weren't afraid to get so dark in the film right away. Bless you. See, I was talking truth. Bless you again.
Thank you.
Like with how they went with obviously like I don't want to talk about too much about the film, but like the
Yeah, of
stuff that
course.
they were going into, I thought that it was the best way they could have done a character growth with him in a development after all these years, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, without a doubt.
So what was one piece of advice that you would give to someone if they asked you?
It's a really good question. I think I would say like be comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes when you're in a situation that's uncomfortable, whether it be filming Happy Gilmore 2 because you're not an actor and everybody else is around you, or filming on the street because you want to start your social media career and
Yeah.
everybody's looking at you while you're doing it. Be comfortable doing it, be confident and own it. And if you can do that, then you can do I'm a big believer that you can do anything. I really am, especially after this experience.
Well, thank you so much, man. This is the last question I actually have for you before you get out of
Yeah.
here. Is what's next for Max Kessler?
It's a really, I keep saying it, but you're asking great questions.
Thank you so much.
That actually is the hardest question to answer
Yeah.
because you're pinned as young Adam. So everything that you post or everywhere you are young Adam. So how do you, I enjoy creating content. I enjoy what I just did. How do you keep those highlights and those good things? But be yourself, be Max.
Yeah.
And it's something that we're working on and we're focusing on and trying to do from a content creation perspective.
Yep.
But it's still in the works, candidly. But I think it will be a lot of some social media stuff and again, whatever experiences come my way.
Well, I just want to thank you again, for joining us and being here, bro. I really appreciate the opportunity. I just want to give you your flowers. You obviously did an incredible job on the movie.
Yeah.
And even with your social media stuff, like I think is really good and I'm really enjoying the content. So, be sure to keep doing it. I like that you're providing so much insight behind the scenes and even the editing and like posting and stuff. Like it's a lot of work that goes into it, but I just want you to know that I'm a fan of your stuff and, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. And, I'm appreciative of you being here. And yeah, man, just let the people know where they can find you on your social medias and stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and I'm very happy you reached out to do this. So I'm the real Max Kessler on all social channels, and um, I guess I'll leave you with one last thing if that works.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I haven't told many people this, so I think it's a good one. My my favorite moment probably of filming, or my favorite moment of set, and I think this should apply to pretty much everything,
Yeah.
was the last scene I filmed, and everybody starts standing up and they're clapping, and I'm looking around like, who is, what's going on? And I
Yeah.
realize that they're all clapping for me. And
Wow.
in that moment, like the appreciation that I got from Adam, from the directors, from the producers, from everybody else, it beat everything that I had done, to date. So I think, again, going back to, the earlier point, if you're uncomfortable or if you're comfortable in uncomfortable situations, at the end of it, you may have a lot of fans in your corner. So again, thanks for interviewing me today. It was awesome.
Of course, man. Thank you so much, Max, for being here. And we're out. Thank you guys for being here, and appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.